Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mandy. In today's video, I am bringing you a bread bowl ham chowder recipe. This was absolutely delicious, and putting it in a bread bowl just gave it that extra wow factor. It was so pretty. This video is part of an open collab hosted by Taylor Elmore, Kat from Southern Farm and Kitchen, Jess from Jess and the Boys, Tamara from Southern Wife Everyday Life, and last but not least, Shauna from the Dickinson Homestead. So to get started with this recipe, you're going to need some bacon, 1 large onion, diced carrots, all-purpose flour, whole milk, water, potatoes, a can of whole kernel corn, chicken bouillon granules, pepper, cheddar cheese, cooked ham, small round bread loaves, and 1 egg white. I'm going to be using my Dutch oven to make this ham chowder. Any utensils that I use, I will be sure to link those down in the description so you can check those out if you would like. So the first thing that I was doing was frying up my bacon, and the recipe calls for 10 slices. I actually only had about 5 already thawed out, and it was starting to get late in the evening. I didn't feel like thawing out anymore, so I only fried up about 5 pieces of bacon, and it was fine. While the bacon is frying, I'm going to go ahead and chop up my onion here and cut up some carrots in just a minute. And then once that bacon is done, I'm going to remove it from the Dutch oven, put it on a paper towel, let some of that grease absorb into the paper towel. And once I have the carrots and the onions all chopped up, then I will place those into the Dutch oven, into that bacon grease, and saute the onion and carrots until they're tender. And I totally forgot to mention it during the intro, but there will be a playlist link down in the description box for this open collab, so make sure you check out that link when you're done watching this video. Something I like to do to make chopping up vegetables a little bit easier is cut your vegetable in half, and then that flat surface of the vegetable, put that down onto your cutting board, and then that will make it a lot easier for you to cut up your veggies. They're not going to be slipping and sliding all around and rolling out from under you. Now my bacon is done, so I did go ahead and put it on a plate lined with a paper towel, and I'm just going to go ahead and place those carrots and onions into that bacon grease and get those sauteed up until they are nice and tender. I don't think I mentioned it earlier, but I did get this recipe off of Pinterest, so I will definitely link it down below. It was super easy to make. You only had the 1 pot that you messed up beside your cutting board, and those are the kinds of meals that I really like. So while the onions and carrots were sauteing, I wanted to go ahead and cut up my ham. The ham that I used, I purchased that from Aldi, and it was already sliced, so all I had to do was cut those slices up into smaller pieces. So now I am blending in the 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, and I'm going to slowly add in the milk and some water, and I'm going to let that come to a boil until it's nice and thickened. While the milk and veggie mixture is boiling, I am going to go ahead and cut up my potatoes. I did cut them into small cubes. I just feel like it helps them cook a little bit faster. And like I said, it was getting late in the evening, so I wanted to hurry up and get dinner done. So now I'm just giving the soup mixture a quick little stir, and I'm going to go ahead and pour in those potatoes and then the can of corn. And I also put in 2 chicken bouillon cubes, and I also added in a little bit of pepper. And then I'm just going to let that simmer. I reduced the heat and let it simmer uncovered for about 15 to 20 minutes until those potatoes were nice and tender. So while that was simmering, I go ahead and separate my egg yolk from the egg white. And I did put the egg yolk into a container and stored it in the refrigerator because I could use that later on for breakfast or something if I'm making some scrambled eggs. I didn't want to waste that yolk. So now I am just cutting the top of the bread and digging out some of that bread to make the bowl. And this was a sourdough bread. You can use whatever kind of bread that you want. This was what I found at Publix, so that is what I purchased. And I only bought one. The recipe calls for 6 small round bread loaves, but at Publix they didn't have anything smaller than the one I have here. So I'm just brushing on some of that egg white onto the bread, and then I'll put the bread into the oven and let it bake for about 5 minutes in my 375-degree preheated oven. Now that the potatoes are nice and tender, I'm going to add in my ham and the bacon, and then I'll also add in that cheese, and I'm going to let that heat up until the cheese is nice and melted. Once that cheese is nice and melted, then I go ahead and pour it into the bread bowl, and it was dinner time. If you're coming over from any of the other ladies' channels, hello and welcome. My name is Mandy. I am a working outside of the home mom. I do physical therapy in the home health field setting. I've been a therapist for about 17 years now. I have 3 beautiful daughters. One has already moved out, so you will probably never ever see her in a video. I have been married to my husband Jason for 15 years, and we've been together for 20. And look at this soup. The bread bowl, like I said earlier, it just gives that little extra wow factor. Don't forget to subscribe and like and share with your friends if you would like. And thank you again to all the ladies that hosted this open collaboration. It was a fun one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
It's not your styling, it's not your jeans. No, what you got is deeper within.